Solanke steps up. Oh my goodness!
What is... Jeez, Solanke. Why did it take a penalty? What is happening, guys? Welcome to FPL Tactics, where we look to master the beautiful game of FPL. We have doubled our subscribers to 20 in 1 week.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Let's keep pushing us to 50 subscribers. So please, if you haven't subscribed, it will take you 2 seconds. It's easy for you and it's motivation for me. So please make sure you do it if you're enjoying the content. There is so much to talk about this week. We've got Game Week 28, the bench boost results. Let's see how that's looking. The team for Game Week 29 and also 30, and also the plan for Game Week 34 and 37. As well. So make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. I'm going to go and give Solanke his ball back. My name is Joel. Let's get into it. So here we are with Game Week 28. 54 points so far. It's looking pretty good. I mean, the bench boost itself has been pretty helpful. But my wild card to getting the 6 double game week players in doesn't look so successful so far. So let's go through the team. So we've got Neto at 3 points. I mean, yeah, what can you say? He got a save point. He did what he could. I mean, I was hoping for a clean sheet, but at the end of the day, it didn't happen. It could have been a lot worse. He got the save points to get him to 3, so he got a slight return, you could call it that, but you still got the game at Luton at home as well, which is a bit conflicting since I've got 3 Luton players. I was really hoping for that clean sheet from Sheffield United. I was really hoping for some good returns from the Bournemouth players in that game, but it didn't happen. But anyway, we've still got that another game, and that's the beauty of having double game week players. Gabriel and Saliba obviously struggling again to keep that clean sheet, which is, you know, Arsenal have had a great track record within the season for clean sheets. It was bound to happen. They were going to let one go eventually. I mean, it was not really much to do with Gabriel and Saliba. Ramsdale had an absolute shocker. So it's just unlucky. It's one of those things, one of those days, because actually outside of that, they defended really pretty solidly. And so, yeah, it's out of your hands. A lot of people are quite own a lot of Gabriel and Saliba. Kind of frustrating though. I was thinking, like, on my previous wildcard, I had Ben White instead of Saliba in there, and yeah, would have been a good pick, but it was kind of, I just went with the popular pick rather than my instinct, which also the idea of Zinchenko maybe coming into the team as well maybe put me off it a little bit, but it is what it is. We got them there. Doherty, obviously 2 points. I mean, pretty much, like, as you can see, nobody else returned from the double game week players at this point. Fingers crossed for Bournemouth. I mean, to be honest, I do think that it's likely he will blank the next one as well. I was thinking that really the returns would probably come against Crystal Palace, but you know, we've got that extra game week anyway. Luton are fighters. He's got the attacking returns as well on his side, so that's that. Saka, I'm actually secretly happy that he blanked, because a few people that didn't have Solanke as captain had Saka as captain, and that was going to hurt me for sure, and hurt our Solanke owners. So in some ways, it has been quite helpful that he has blanked as well. Son, what an absolute performance, and kind of a surprising result, 4-0. It was quite incredible. And actually, this is where the bench boost has helped me a lot, because against Aston Villa, I actually was probably thinking Aston Villa would win that game, and it was at Villa Park as well. So the chances were of it being a high point game for Tottenham wasn't very high. So that's why I would have benched Romero and Maddison if it came to it. And so at least I've got a return. At least I got over 20 points on my bench. No, not quite 20 points, 19 points. But on my bench boost, which in the end of the day, in a game week like this, it's actually quite helpful. Tavernier obviously on 2, Barkley on 2 as well, Morris on 2, Haaland on 2, so it's been a pretty miserable game week for everybody, and then obviously the famous Solanke. In all fairness, I didn't even think it was a penalty. I thought the guy got the ball. I don't even know what it counts. I mean, some people are saying he came from behind, and you're not allowed to do that. I feel like I grew up with the rules where if you got the ball before you got the player, then it's not a foul. But the rules have changed so much now that I just have no idea what's going on. But I just feel like should be the rule, no matter what. If you get the ball before you get the player, that should be the rule. It seems more black and white in my eyes, rather than bringing in like angles they're coming in at, and if you yes or no, did he get the ball first or not? Just give the penalty based on that. Anyway, he got the penalty, skyrocketed it. Some say that ball's still travelling. It's crazy. And I do feel terrible because one of my friends still had his triple captain available, and I pushed him to put the triple captain on Solanke, and I'm getting all sorts of abuse over WhatsApp now. But yeah, he's still got the Luton game to come in. Maybe he'll get a hat trick against Luton, which, you know what, I wouldn't even be mad at it. So if he gets a hat trick at Luton, all will be forgiven, Solanke, and we'll carry on your name. But for now, you're in the bad books, that's for sure. But yeah, really happy with the where we're at just now, 54 points, and yeah, huge green arrow. So I've had a green arrow of nearly 100,000 spots. And I've still got 6 players to play. So there's a great chance that we can be pushing into the top 100k this week, which would be amazing. It'd be an amazing return. It's kind of what I was hoping for from the bench boost, and also doubling down on the game week players, although they didn't return. For somehow we've had such a great big green arrow. I feel like a lot of people are suffering. A lot of players, a lot of top players that would normally bring in Watkins blanked. Obviously Saka and Haaland blanked, the favourites. A lot of the Liverpool faithful blanked. Foden blanked. De Bruyne got an assist, but didn't really go big on the scores. So a lot of popular players did not score, apart from Son and Maddison, which I own, and Romero. 8-pointers actually quite big this week. So really, pretty much all my points have come in from Tottenham, which is quite something. But fingers crossed for the next game between Luton and Bournemouth. That could be. I'm hoping for like 3-3. Bring it on. Tavernier double, Solanke hat trick, something like that would be beautiful. Barkley getting a couple of assists, Morris getting a couple of goals, because they're not highly owned, so it's all differential players. So if you put me in a position, and now at 102,000 in the rank with 6 players still to go, I would take it. I'd bite your hand off for it. So it's looking like a great game week. Fingers crossed that we're going to push on into the top 100k. Would be absolutely amazing. So let's have a look at game week 29. So this is game week 29. Basically, I'm getting out 10 players. So what I've done basically is I've brought in Watkins for Haaland, and also Tony as well. So we're looking basically at a 10-player team. So we go for Areola, Aston Villa, Emerson. He wasn't actually playing. He had some sort of minor injury. He was 75% to play, but then he didn't play in the end. He wasn't even in squad, which is slightly worrying. But West Ham do not look like the same team without him. So I do hope that that he is back in the team. Otherwise, I'm with 9 players, which wouldn't be fantastic, but it's not the worst position to be in the world, because, to be honest, I'm not holding my breath for a clean sheet for West Ham, which is not the best thing to say when you've got 2 West Ham defenders pretty much. But let's see. Doughty with Forest. The Forest look like they're leaking goals, which is exciting for us. Doughty and Luton at home they do score goals. They score goals. So I'm hoping for those assists on Doughty. I'm hoping for Barkley's assists. I'm hoping for a goal from Morris. It does look good. It looks like hopefully they will return. I'm sure they will. Bit of momentum for Tottenham as well, with Romero at the back, playing against Fulham. Son and Maddison, the captaincy is definitely on Son at this moment. I like him in that striker role. I think Richarlison got injured. It's such a good time for me or to have Son. So he's looking great at that striker role. His link up play is really good. That way he set up the goal for Timo Werner. His link up play with Maddison's amazing. They're a really good twosome as well. So it's looking good. Obviously we've got Morris, Watkins and Tony up front. I did actually have Bowen in the team before, thinking like that's what my move was going to be, but obviously we took out Haaland, which is a big obvious point, and so this is basically why I wanted to talk about that later on in another slide, just kind of going through, because I know I've been watching some videos, I've heard people talk about maybe going without Haaland till maybe the double game weeks, which I don't know how I feel about that. I'm definitely going to get him back in more for the game against Luton, maybe even Palace. But I want to kind of see how these next few game weeks go. But I've got a plan to kind of get him back in as well. But yeah, I mean, he's one of those players at the moment, Haaland, that he kind of blanks for a couple, then he goes big, and I'm hoping that the fixtures with Crystal Palace as well would be the ones he goes big. Obviously, he's blanking now, so I'm taking advantage of that at the moment. But that's kind of how it's looking. So let's have a look at what it's going to be like on game week 38. So this is how game week 38 is looking. So basically what I'm looking to do is I've obviously got Nato. I've got the same team as I had basically for game week 38. The players I've brought in, as you can see, Salah, I basically brought him in. Just obviously he's injured at the moment, but he was on the bench. He came on for a brief moment, I'm pretty sure, from memory. And obviously by this time, I'm pretty sure he'll be back to full fitness. He's a player that you can't really go without. He might even be a captaincy option round about this time. Obviously Liverpool need their players to be scoring goals. I'm sure he's going to be there as well. I mean, obviously Man City, Arsenal. This is why I'm quite happy not to have Haaland in the team, because I just feel like with that solid defence that Arsenal have, I just think it's going to be a low scoring game, and I just think that there's better captaincy options like Son or Salah in that game week. So I'm happy to go without him, and then I've got the money in the bank. Now my big dilemma for this week, Tavernier is in there. Now I could have Foden in the team for this game week, but obviously he's playing against Man City. I'd have to bring in Foden for a hit, whereas at least I've managed to navigate game week 29 and game week 30 without taking hits at this point with this team. And Everton at home is not a bad fixture. Now Tavernier is not a great player. He had a good run for like 2 game weeks earlier in the season, and I think that was maybe the attraction towards his the player. But at the same time, I think I've also got a slight bias because I'm a Rangers fan. I've got his brother that plays for Rangers, and he's a goal scoring machine as a defender. So I just think like somehow maybe he channels that or carries the same DNA as well. But anyway, he's in there, but it could be Foden. Definitely, it's going to be my next transfer for the next game week. But I think the team at the moment is actually quite good. I'm pretty happy with it, and we've got pretty much a full playing midfield. I'm also contemplating, is it worth just bringing in the likes of Emerson or Saliba instead of Doherty, because Tottenham, I do think they will score goals against Luton. So I think actually there might be a higher chance of a clean sheet somehow, maybe with Arsenal. So maybe putting Saliba in there as well. So that I might take that gamble. Again, no Man City players in this team. So basically I would be putting my money on Arsenal winning at least 1-0, which would be a great result for them and also a great result for me. And so that might be something that I'm thinking about as well. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on Haaland. So this is just looking at basically the rest of the fixtures for the season and what it looks like to go without Haaland. Now, basically where I'm comfortable going without Haaland is most likely up to Luton at the latest. The only reason I would hold out until Luton is because maybe I don't want to take a hit, because after the Arsenal game, I would like to bring in Foden for the Villa game at home. Maybe I'll bring in Haaland instead of Foden, depending again on just how the team is looking and how Man City have been playing basically as well, and it'll be a bit of a feel. But either way, I'll be looking to bring in Foden and Haaland across those 2 fixtures, whatever order they come in. That the both of them will be there for the Luton game. That is the goal. Now, again, depending, I might want to bring both of them in for the Villa game and take a hit to bring one of them in because, again, I need to look at the captaincy options for that game week. But at the same time, I'm not 100% sure if he would be the best captain against Villa at home. Obviously, they've just shipped 4 goals, but generally they're quite strong and defensively, and they've had a good track record against Man City this season. Will they be able to do it against Man City in the Etihad? I'm not sure. So, yeah, basically a lot of people have been talking about it, but I think I would only be comfortable holding out until the Luton game to bring in Haaland and then definitely be captain him. Obviously, if you still have your triple captainship, that's probably a good game, because if he is maybe trickled in 1 or 2 goals up until that point, you know, it's very possible that he could score 3 to 4 goals in that game against Luton at home. So definitely it's an option to do that. But yeah, I don't think I would ever go without him. I mean, one of my chip strategies, what I shall talk about as well, 34, I'm going to be free hitting. So I'm going to get him into my team either way, but I definitely want him for that Luton fixture. So let me just talk about my plan for game week 34 and 37. So the plan moving forward, this is a fantastic, if you haven't seen this, I'm sure you have. If you're any engaged player, I'm sure you've seen this, but this is a fantastic sheet, which gives you basically all the fixtures all the way to the end of the season and what the possible game week double game weeks look like, possible blanks, which are that they're all done pretty much, but there might be some more coming up, what the likelihood is of those game weeks happening as well, and so it's amazing just for your planning. Now, credit to Ben Crellin, I got this off the Fantasy Football Hub website as well, so please go and check it out. It's a great tool. Obviously you can sign up to it as well. I use it all the time, so please have a look at it. It's a great tool, and also this is perfect for your planning. But yeah, so as you can see here on game week 34, there's a lot of teams doing a double, but at the same time it's, you know, a bit sporadic. And also, so if you see like the red is lightly to black game week, obviously lightly to double game week, and also unlikely. Now there's a lot of unlikelies there, and not so many likelies. There's what, 4 there. So there will be fewer teams, and this is why I think the free hit's better. And basically from game week 30, I have got 7 game weeks to engineer my team to that game week 37, where there will be a lot of double game weeks. Now, I've used my bench boost already. A lot of people are looking to bench boost in game week 37 because they're hoping to have players on the bench that are doubling. Now, I've already seen, just by wildcarding and then bench boosting the next game week, that you still can get injuries in one game week. So if you are somehow wildcarding, most people that are using the bench boost in 37 will have wildcarded by game week 30, maybe game week 34, but you're still leaving a big gap before you're using that bench boost. And I can guarantee you, this is why the bench boost is so hard to use, I can guarantee you that there will not be a full bench to be using that bench boost on. And that's why I was thinking before, I'm going to use it the week after my wild card, so I can get the most out of it. Unfortunately, I didn't get the whole team out, which is crazy, but at the same time, it still came out for me. I got nearly 20 points out of it. Now, even if you did get 2 or 3 of those players playing, you're still getting 6 fixtures, so it is better in some ways than the bench boost that I did. Now, it's just purely down to your feeling. So, but that's just the slight risk that people take as well. But at the same time, game week 34, I'm definitely free hitting, and then I've got all these 7 fixtures the next 7 fixtures after game week 30, from game week 30, to engineer my team into that. So essentially that's around about 7 transfers. And so I'm going to have a team, what my ideal team looks like in game week 37, and then I'm going to have work my way into that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a separate video on what that game week 37 perfect team looks like and how I'm going to engineer that team towards that as well, because it might be helpful. There might be something you pick out from that as well. So I'm going to be doing that. That should come out around about Wednesday, so look at that, keep posted for that as well. So that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It's been great to see that we're doubled our subscribers. Let's push for 50. I hope this is useful. Again, any ideas you've got in the channel, please feel free to write them in the comments. Catch you next week.